welcome to ProfileTree TV, and we are very, very excited to have Larry Bass with us today, who's going to be telling us loads of things about his business, his sector, and what he does. So welcome, Larry. We're very, very excited to have you. So do you want to introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about your background?
Thanks, Michelle. Well, I'm Larry Bass. You're speaking to me because of COVID. I'm not in my Belfast office. I'm speaking to you from my Dublin office. I still go to the office. Everybody else in the business is working from home at the moment. But we're in the television business, so unfortunately we still have to get programs out and get them out on air. This business is 21 years old. We opened our UK business in Belfast in 2015, so that's been going a number of years, and we've got exciting plans for, we had exciting plans for this year. It's probably going to take a little bit longer to roll out, but we've got big exciting plans to grow the Belfast operation into the UK, which I can talk about a little bit later. My background is I started in the business, believe it or not, through pirate radio, way back when I was 13 years old, which led me into a world where I was always involved and interested in the technology behind working in a radio station, you know, how did it all work. And during school, then I started to get involved in helping with the school musicals and plays, and, you know, technical interests really outweighed my interest in the media at that time. And I became a sound engineer and was doing sound for bands even before I left school, doing DJ, doing anything that would, you know, get me working with equipment, which is where I really liked. I worked then in the rock and roll business, traveled the world, became a rock and roll production manager, and got tired of living out of a suitcase, traveling, came back and went as a mature student to college, age 28, did a degree in film and broadcasting, set up a post-production company for a couple of years. Didn't really fancy that as a career move, and then set up ShinAwiL in 1999 to do a documentary really about a band that I first worked with many years before and wanted to tell that story. And it's you know, taken off from there. Our first big show that sort of launched us nationally and gave us a first global hit, because we also exported it, was the Irish version of Pop Stars. And since that, we've gone on to do the Irish version of many international formats, from Pop Stars, we did Eurostar, we've done The Voice, MasterChef, The Apprentice, Dragon's Den, and currently we do the Irish version of Strictly, Dancing with the Stars.
Wow, amazing. So what a very varied career, and as you say, always had that background and that technical and that interest in the technical. It just amuses me when we talk to people how they get from one sort of aspect of the career to a completely different side of it. And some of the, obviously, the things that you've been doing are so varied and so interesting as well. So what do you specialize in? Is there a specialism, or is it more general in terms of the stuff that you produce?
Well, I suppose on our non-scripted side, we would see ourselves as high-end entertainment television. So we're a trusted pair of hands for big budgets. We deal with fairly large crews, and we work to a very high production level. We also feel that one of our unique selling points is our ability to get high quality for a lower value. We're used to, on the island of Ireland, dealing with smaller budgets on lots of things in lots of industries. We punch way above our weight, and I think that's why the exports off this island have actually been stronger than other parts of the UK, because we are an export country. We've always looked out, and the world is our market. So that's really where we focus. We've actually taken a change recently. We opened up a scripted division, and now we produce drama. We had our first drama on the UK TV earlier on this year, on the Alibi channel. It wasn't produced for Alibi. It was produced for PBS in the US, for a studio there, A&E International. And it's a story about a Victorian detective, except this Victorian detective was a woman. And the series is called Miss Scarlett and the Duke. So that was all set in Victorian London.
Wow. And how did you find the difference in the scripted stuff and the other stuff? Was it a big, massive change for you guys? Or was it a big, transformation for the business? Or was it
Yeah.
something that was quite easy?
Well, it wasn't easy. Obviously, production is production. The different genres have different elements, and the scripted world is a completely different world to the non-scripted world. I think it was easy for me because I'm probably a born entrepreneur. I get bored easily, so I'm always looking to what's the next shiny new thing that I can jump onto, and the whole world of scripted excited me. It really meant that we had to look for way outside of these shores, way outside of even Europe, and that world is dominated by platforms which emanate in the US.
Yeah, and as you say, it's always exciting though to do something new and refresh the business and try new things. And do you think you'll move in that direction and do a few more scripted productions now that you've dipped your toe in the water?
Yeah, we're working with. I suppose in that world, it all starts with the script on the page. So finding great writers, and finding ways then to get their output onto screen. So we're the conduit between great writers and the audience. So that takes a number of steps. Finding a channel or a platform that will buy into the vision for a story. That's our job, and then to connect that is putting the production together. We've got lots of plans. We've a slate of projects which are it's over a dozen projects that are currently at various stages of development, and we hope to go into production a little later on a couple more series this year. And our aim would be to do 2 or 3 per year, and that's going to be a mix of both film and TV drama.
Wow, that's a lot. It's a lot to have on your list, but at the same time, very exciting times. And you touched on something there about great writers and having a strong team. And obviously, you're working with loads of different facets of different people at different stages, probably as well. Obviously, it would be a massive priority for production and team management.
I think production is the ultimate in team management. It's the ultimate in project management. On some productions, we might have a team as small as 4 to 6 people. And then on a major drama, we can have 500 to 600 people. And you have to be able to be comfortable in either. And for me, it's really simple. Hire people who make you look better. Hire really the best talent you can find, and give them the opportunity to do the best work that they can do. So getting complementary skills. I'm not a detail orientated person, so I need somebody who will do that. So make sure that we've got all areas covered. Knowing your strengths, knowing your weaknesses, play to your strengths, minimize your weaknesses. Do all of those key things all the time. I got into the habit many years ago of merely doing a SWOT analysis on anything I would look at mentally in my head, so that we can be better prepared as we go along. And I think it's such a simple tool, and yet it's such an effective way of problem solving, and making sure that you're avoiding potential problems before they even emerge.
Yeah, no, and you're right, and it's so true to have a team around you that are a team of experts. Because we can't be experts in everything, and actually knowing that you're not an expert and admitting that and having somebody better than you, it makes everything so much easier, and makes a world of difference in the impact and outcome of the project. I think sometimes people take that as a threat that someone's better than them, but it actually, we would always be very much embracing the expertise, because it makes everyone's life a bit easier, and it makes the project shine at the end. So no, I totally agree with you there. It makes a world of difference. And what are the common challenges that teams are facing in production at the minute? Because I know obviously the whole COVID thing is massive, but in general, it's not an easy sector to be in.
I think on the scripted side, it's especially in Northern Ireland, it's probably one of the growth sectors in Europe. And the quality of production in Northern Ireland is now second only to probably Hollywood. There are huge opportunities. There are great abilities for people to upskill, move from one particular area in the industry to a different area. And the great thing about the film and TV drama business is they are highly sought after skills. They are generally well paid. It's hard work. It's long hours. They're long days. But it's very rewarding and quite fulfilling. And it allows people actually give a little piece of who they are into what they do. It is an act of craft. It's not it's sitting at a desk, constantly just working on a computer. You're out and about, physically making something. And I think that's quite a rewarding world to be in. And it's constantly changing, and the pressures these days are, how do we make the budgets go further? Sometimes that is justifying a bigger budget because you want to do some more special effects, or have an even better set. Work with higher quality talent and actors. So if you want more budget, justify it and really then deliver when you get it. And usually if you have success, that will be repaid with people wanting more of the same success. So this is a business that rewards the best for doing the best.
And a very competitive business. So how do you really stand out?
Again, you have to have ultimate confidence in what you do. And, I always say that we're as good as our last gig in everything we do. And so that will always mean that you're constantly trying to be aware that we're doing the right thing, and we're doing it with the right people, and you need to learn quite early how to say no. So know what you won't do, and live that. You can't say I'm not going to do this, and then a few weeks later change, and that's sometimes that's a hard discipline to bring. In a competitive landscape, when you need work to pay the bills, you can get sucked in very easily into doing the things that stop you doing the bigger, better things. So, we're a big believer in less is more sometimes, and also, going after some key pillar activity, and making that the priority, and always not being afraid to say no. And that goes through a number of ways. No to some things that you can get easily distracted with because somebody's going to pay you, but also no to a particular strand, which may have been, it could even be your bread and butter for a while, but you need to make that decision that we've moved on now, so we need to leave that behind and move to a different place. Nobody can be all things to everyone.
No, and it's such good advice, because as you say, and I think actually being from Ireland, we don't like to say no either to people. We want to try and please, and we want to try and do everything. But as you say, it can have such a detrimental effect on the business, the growth, the scalability, and by dragging yourself down to be doing stuff that probably you should have said no to 6 months ago or a year ago. So it's such good advice. We are trying our best as a business to try and say no a bit more, and it is difficult, but you do need to think about your business and the growth and how it's being hindered by not sometimes saying no. But I do know, especially when businesses are small, it's hard to say no, especially if somebody's going to be paying you. But it's a key factor in growth and being able to move forward. And obviously you've been around a little while. I'll not say, obviously, repeat again how many years you've been in the industry, but how have you found the entertainment and production has changed over the years?
I think we're about to see an even bigger change. I think certainly if you look at technology and the technology we all use every day, the fact that we're doing this conversation via Zoom, I think technology has probably taken a leap, maybe 3 or 4 years in in where we all now use certain technology. That is going to affect the entertainment industry. It is going to affect the entertainment production industry. I don't have a crystal ball to say how exactly it's going to do that, but I think you need to be open to that change, embrace it, and not fear it. Change is something that people need to say, I want, and live it. Just, going off to do a strategic course on a new mission and vision is all well and good, but you need to live it day in, day out, and be quite defined on where you're going. Keep that target in mind, and make sure that you bulldoze things out of the way that may stop you getting to your target. And you've got to have that discipline to know the purpose of what you're doing. It's such a huge part of what we all get up in the morning for. What is the purpose?
Yeah, no, exactly. And the industry is growing massively in Northern Ireland. Obviously, Game of Thrones has opened up a massive amount of doors for us here in Northern Ireland. What benefits are you seeing for other businesses off the back of this? Because it is actually massive for Northern Ireland.
Yeah, I mean, Thrones has been fantastic. If you see now, even in Titanic Studios, where that was born. Now you look at Belfast Harbour Studios, they even dwarf Titanic Studios. So the scale of production that they will be looking to populate those studios with will dwarf even Game of Thrones. And then the spin-off to the whole community is huge, because you've got much bigger production teams, much bigger acting fraternity, all living and working in and around that studio space. They all have to eat, they all have to stay somewhere, they all have to get from A to B, and all those services have to be there to feed that growing industry. So the whole economy grows on the back of a lively, robust and sustainable film and television industry. And it puts Northern Ireland on the map globally. So it builds your tourism, it builds your economic purpose. More people are probably aware of Belfast through its vibrant arts and film and television community than any other message that gets out. And in a big wide world, we're a tiny, tiny speck on the ocean. For people to actually know who you are or where you are, you need to get out there and make noise, and film and television does that.
No, you're right, and as you say, even the likes of tourism, we've seen such a massive impact of people coming just to see the locations and to be immersed in the place where it was filmed. And as you say, there's more and more attractive benefits of other companies coming here to film and to use it as a location, and it's absolutely massive. And how do you find working with the big networks?
It's like any business. The bigger the customer, probably the more careful you need to be, because you've got so many different parts of that entity that you have to probably engage with. But generally speaking, if you're a good supplier, your customer wants what you're supplying, and it's really important that you get that connection. And I suppose in our business, we would see ourselves as different from a business that gets easily commodified. We are usually building a particular product for a particular niche. And whilst you want it seen by the biggest, broadest audience, usually a successful show, whether it's scripted or non-scripted, starts out because it's fresh, different and new. And that's going back to being absolutely core to the belief of what you do that's different from everyone else. So understanding your unique product and how it will add value to a TV schedule or a platform, or make people want to switch on, is critical and key. So if you look at a show like Derry Girls, what Lisa McGee created, she's created something that's beyond important to a schedule for Channel 4. It's now a pillar for a whole network. It's one of the things that they can sort of rest that whole channel on. It's the home of Dairy Girls. It's the home of other shows, but Dairy Girls is one of the key pillars for that network.
No, and it's again amazing. Who would have thought that a program from Derry would have went so worldwide, and you know, as I say, people would have really enjoyed it, and it's just again grown massively. It blows my mind when you think about it as well, how quickly these things can snowball and grow. And when you start out in the process of thinking, right, we're going to do a new show or a new production piece, do you have a vision in mind, or is it, as you say, you find a great writer, or you find a great script, or you know, what's the process you go through?
Well, we have got development teams. I try not dominate those meetings or discussions, and I think you do still, you know, I mean, if I'm involved I suppose I am the key driver of the business. I set it up. I do get involved in both the scripted and non-scripted side. I like the development process, and I want to get the next new show away. The older shows are important for the sustainability of the company, but every show will have its natural end. So constantly looking to renew, constantly looking to make something better. If we're doing a series which has multiple seasons, you can't just roll it out as we did last year. You've got to always start next season on how do we do it better? How do we do it bigger? How do we do smarter? You know, it's constantly always evolving. And I think that has to be the key part of your DNA, that you don't stand still. It's not for everybody. People don't like that sort of level of movement and change. And if you're not comfortable in that environment, you're probably in the wrong business. You've got to be very comfortable in something that's near manic all the time.
Yeah, sounds exciting, but as you say, not for everybody. And it's so yeah, exactly. It's such a fast-paced industry as well. As you say, to be the top of your game, you need to be fast-paced and you need to be 10 steps ahead.
Yeah, you're sort of I think you need to have a sort of it's a third eye, or the ability to look around the corner. But you know, you need to marry that with a gut reaction that you can only build with a bit of experience, or having good people around you to bounce a couple of things off and get a sense. And then you've got to have that ability to make a decision. You know, nothing is going to move forward if you don't make decisions. So having your generals ready to move, and when an opportunity arises. I'm also, from a personality point of view, I'm not detail orientated, but I think I'll probably go through life without a rear view mirror. When Lady Luck opens the door, I tend to gallop through it, and try and, you know, infect everything beyond there with what we do. You know, youthful enthusiasm goes a long way, and you don't lose it just because you're not a youth anymore.
No, you're right. You're right. I would agree with that. You know, us not being in our 20s anymore, we have to embrace that. So you mentioned you've offices obviously in Dublin and in Belfast. Do you plan for expansion or to grow those teams?
Exactly. Yeah, we've got big plans. We've just agreed to create a new joint venture out of our Belfast office with a company in London called Zigzag. So we will be announcing a new name for that business. And that's a combination of bringing our two track records together. Zigzag, like ourselves, they've literally been around the same length of time. So it's two 21-year-old companies coming together to sort of bring their combined track records into a new business out of Belfast. We both felt the need to want to do something bigger and better than we had been doing. Zigzag, because they were in that little bubble of London, and they were finding it quite suffocating. They wanted to look out and see what's out there in those nations and regions. For us, we wanted to have the opposite nearly. We've spent a lot of time going to London, pitching to networks based in London. So how do we connect where we can utilize our key resource in a more efficient manner? But also how can we attract in new teams to want to work for companies who are background and scale are reliable, trustworthy, and have long track records. So we're looking to build a new team in Belfast. We're looking to recruit a new creative director. We've no idea who that person is yet. So anyone watching who feels they know somebody, please get in touch. And we will go out and we'll seek out people, whether it's people who are in Northern Ireland at the moment, or is there somebody working in this industry who left Northern Ireland but want to go home? I'm a home bird. I like getting home to my wife and kids, and I travel a lot all the time for work, but it's nothing like coming home. And so I think there's a time in life where people maybe want to think about, I've done okay at this. I know what I'm doing now. Now I wouldn't mind doing it back home. And so that's something we're looking out for. Or, there's people who never been to Northern Ireland. And it's only when you go and start exploring what a wonderful country it is, what a great place to do business, and, a great place to find great staff. If you're interested in that type of adventure, we're going to look for, that type of person to head it up. So no pressure on that person at all. And we want to refresh our team, and because our team constantly move, I think it's important that production people get the ability to move onwards and upwards. We've got series producers who started with us 10, 15 years ago as production runners. But you start watching people in production and seeing where their core skills lead them. Some people are naturally more predisposed to the logistics side of business. Some people more predisposed to the more creative, more on the writing side. Some people just like to get their hands dirty with equipment and get involved in that end. Some people like, switching off and going into a corner and operating with a computer, and they come out with wonderful creative work, and they're very comfortable working on their own. So lots of people flower in different ways, but the key is to constantly look, how can you make people bloom, and allow them become as good as they can be. And they have got, that desire to grow. And if everyone you hire is growing, the company's automatically growing.
Yeah, and it's amazing. It's amazing being able to offer those opportunities to people as well, where they're not in one position and they have to just stick with that and that's it. Having the opportunity to move jobs or try something new, or as you say, you start to see that people have interest in certain areas and you're able to offer them that opportunity to give it a go is amazing. And for career production or career and actually attracting staff, I mean, it's a very attractive prospect to know that you get to do something that you're really passionate about.
For me, if you love your work, you should never have an issue getting up in the morning and going to work. I'm a huge sports fan. I love sport. I watch football, rugby, Gaelic. I even watch golf occasionally, but I try and play it very badly. So I'm just a sports nut. I love the Olympic Games. I love the big football championships. That's what I watch, more sport than probably anything else. So I think I've always looked with envy on professional sports people who get paid to play sport. I still think I'm lucky. I get paid to work in an industry that I still find excites me and has potential. But more importantly, for someone like me, constantly changing. I think if I was in a job where there wasn't a lot of change, I'd find it very difficult to keep doing the same thing day in, day out.
Yeah, no, amazing. So big, massive plans for yourself and the company, lots of expansion. collaboration. We're the biggest fan in the world of collaboration and partnerships. Think it's definitely the way forward in business. Again, leveraging other people's expertise is amazing. So definitely big plans for you in the company. So we look forward to seeing you more prominent in Belfast and hear more about all these amazing shows and dramas and everything else that you guys are going to be doing.
Yeah, no, and you mentioned partnering. I think this is one of the businesses that actually relies hugely on partnering, and already, some of the key components of partnering in our industry have developed. There's a Yellow Moon, or a post-production facility in Belfast, who you can rate with the best in the world. You've got an organisation like Northern Ireland Screen, who were able to bring an extraordinary vision to a semi-state organisation to try and build an industry, and they haven't just built it, they've exploded. Invest and I have been very helpful in terms of attracting in, and we're looking to build on their ambition to grow a sector. So that they're all parts of the jigsaw that make working in Northern Ireland attractive. But what we're trying to do is build a global business, but build it in Belfast.
Yeah, and as I say, at the minute in the filming industry, Northern Ireland, the world's our oyster. It's a very exciting prospect, as you say, not for just production companies like yourselves, but all the other businesses that are benefiting off the back of it is absolutely amazing. I've really enjoyed talking to you today, Larry. It's been really interesting, really insightful, and such a fast-paced career, and just the excitement, as you say, always looking for the next new thing, but having a great team around you at the same time and really relying on their expertise. So I've really enjoyed chatting to you. If somebody did want to reach out, especially if they're looking for that creative director's position, what's the best way to contact you?
The easiest way always to contact me is via email, we have it's a very easy email to get. It's reception@ShinAwiL.com, and ShinAwiL is ShinAwiL.
Brilliant, and we will also put that on the screen for you too, so that people can you could be bombarded now. You'll regret asking for that position. There'll be 600 CVs in your inbox 24 hours after the video goes live. So really interesting to chat to you today. Thank you so much, and that's all from us at PTTV today, and we look forward to seeing you all again soon.
Thank you.